Radesh, can you signal when we're ready to start? I'll take it over. Radesh, can you signal when we're ready to start? I'll take it over. Okay. Right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. This is the I'm hearing an echo.
So welcome to the opening session of GPCE and SLE.
Maybe everyone, if you're not speaking, it's always good to mute your microphone.
You should also mute the your YouTube tab.
Ah. Okay. I may have YouTube on. You should also mute your YouTube tab. That's where it was. Okay, my apologies. So starting again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is the first session for the combination of SLE and GPCE. So we'll have the opening session here, some awards to present, and then we'll have our first two papers for both GPCE and SLE. So at first, we'll go ahead and pass off the mic to Juan to cover some opening session information about SLE.
Thank you, Jeff. Welcome to SLE 2020, to the ACM International Conference on Software Language Engineering. This is the 13th edition of the conference, and of course, the first time that it is done completely virtual. So, welcome on behalf of the organizing committee this year, of the General Chair, Ralph Lamel, the Program Committee Chairs, Lawrence Stratt and myself, the Artifact Evaluation Chairs, Lucas and Antonio, and the Publicity Chair, Lori Burgelli. Just some words on the proceedings. The production of the proceedings has already finished, and the proceedings will be soon available on the ACM Digital Library. But however, you can temporarily access those proceedings in this URL here, and using the username +20 and the same password. But however, if you go to the program, you will be able to see the individual PDFs of the article just by clicking on link to publication, and you should use the same username and password. Right, I will give you a few words on the selection process. As you know, in SLE, we have 3 types of papers this year: research papers, long papers of 12 pages plus appendices, and then sorted papers, tool papers, and new ideas and vision papers. We set up one committee for all the paper types, and the process was double-blind, where neither the reviewer names or the author names were known to each other. And as you know, this is the commonplace now in most conferences within our field. The idea of double-blind is to make the process as fair as possible, avoiding a possible bias from the reviewers knowing the author identity. We set up 3 reviews per paper, which led to more than 130 reviews with more than 77,000 words, which you know is more than enough to write a novel. And then the decisions were made based on the reviews, on the scores, but also on online PC discussions through HotCRT. They were very intensive with a lot of participation. And to show you this intensity, we had more than 22,000 words in counting all the lists. Well, for this year, we had an official 30 days deadline extension for all SPLASH events due to the COVID pandemic. We were hit by this pandemic like everything else in the world. But even with this difficult situation, we have a big support from our community. So we have 49 abstracts this year, which materialized in 44 submissions, which is a little bit more than in previous year. So out of these 44 submissions, we got 21 papers accepted, which is an acceptance rate of 47%. And then breaking down these numbers, we have the 34 full papers submitted, we have 16 accepted. And out of the 10 short papers submitted, we have five. As in previous year, we also run an artifact evaluation process. We thank the artifact evaluation co-chairs for this. So, the idea here is to give prominence and to assess all the artifacts that basically accompany that are attached to the papers. So we got 14 submissions, 14 artifacts, 12 of which received the functional badge and 2 the reusable one. And so you will see these badges around in the papers in the proceedings. So some insights on the papers we got this year. If we count the nationalities of the co-authors in the papers, we see that France was the most active country, followed by USA, and then Germany, Netherlands, Sweden, South Africa, Brazil, Japan, and so on. So you see that we have a very nice geographically distribution of the papers this year. And this is a word cloud with the most successful topics this year based on the title. So these are the words in the titles of the accepted papers, and no surprises here. We have all the usual topics in SLE, like, of course, language, DSLs, grammars, attribute grammars, but not only attribute grammars, but also triple graph grammars, and of course, models. And we have also applications like robotics, as you can see here. All right, what about the program? So you are already seeing that the tracks will be shared with GPCE, and in most tracks, you will see that we have both SLE and GPCE papers. And if you look in the Clouder, you will see that the share sessions are only labeled as GPCE. We are aware of this, but this is because of a limitation in the Clouder platform. But in the Splash 2020 website, everything is correctly labeled. Another thing is that you see that every track here is going to be mirrored in plus 12 hours. And this is to facilitate attendance from people around the world. So SLE will happen today, Sunday, and also tomorrow. There is no official keynote for GPCE or SLE, but tomorrow you will be able to attend the keynote by Jonathan Bell, which is for all Splash events. Right. A little bit more about session dynamics. So you have, you are an announcer, you have pre-recorded your video that will be displayed and streamed as the main explanation for your work. And immediately after, there will be a live Q&A session. It will be 5 minutes, and it could be extended to 20. I will explain this in a moment. So after your video finishes, you will have here join the Q&A session by Zoom. So you will be able to click here and then join the Q&A session by Zoom. We will stream in the video the first 5 minutes, right? And after these 5 minutes, the next paper will, the next video of the next paper will run. But in the meantime, if you are interested really in the previous paper, you can still stay in this Zoom room discussing the paper. All right, and in addition, Clouder has other nice functionalities. So we have breakout rooms for each paper that allows you to meet at any moment during the conference to discuss the paper, and they allow video and screen sharing, and there is a persistent chat during all the conference, so your conversation will not be lost. All right, I would like to conclude this introduction thanking the many people that are involved in this conference. So first of all the authors that submitted the paper, the PC members and the additional reviewers, the steering committee members, especially the steering committee chair, session chairs, the ACM proceeding staff, and the Splash organization committee, especially the virtualization chairs, because running a conference virtually is a huge effort. So I'm really grateful to them. And finally, even if we cannot meet physically this year in Chicago, which is a pity, I hope that you will enjoy the program through Cloudel. Don't forget that you can still share more material about your paper on Researcher and have a look on Twitter using the hashtag SLE20 or referring to the SLEconf account. All right. And because we don't have any other share session, I will now immediately proceed to the SLE20 awards. These awards are given on behalf of the general chair, both co-chairs, and also the artifact evaluation co-chairs. We will be giving awards for the best long paper, the short paper, which includes the tool demo and the new ideas vision, also for the best artifact, and a recognition for one of the reviewers. All right, so I will start with the long paper award, and the criteria here is based on the reviewer scores, reviewer comments, online comments of the reviewers, and also our assessment. And the paper award this year goes to Lucas and Eric for the paper Strategic Tree Rewriting in Attribute Grammar. So congratulations. We will make sure that you will receive a physical copy of this award to your address. Then for the short paper, which includes both the new ideas vision and the tool papers, the award this year goes to Stephen and Fiona for the paper A Family of Languages for Trustworthy Agent-Based Simulation. Congratulations. And then on behalf of Antonio and Lucas, we would also like to present an award for the best artifact. And in this case, the award goes to Clement Pitt Claudel for the artifact attached to the paper Untangling Mechanized Proofs. Congratulations. And finally, I have to say that we had excellent reviews this year. All reviewers made a tremendous effort to produce very high quality reviews, and they were engaging a lot in the PC the online discussion. So I am really thankful for all the reviewers. But as in previous year, we recognize especially one of them. And this year, the award goes to Eric. So Eric, congratulations again, and thank you. And we will send you physical copies of these awards. All right, so with this, I finish the introduction, and I would like to pass the mic to Benoit, who will give some words about the most influential paper award and say some words on future essays.
Thank you so much, Juan. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's black. It reacts to, seems to have reacted to you starting screen sharing, but no screen is appearing yet.
Can you see it now?
Not yet.
Here it is.
We do.
Very good.
It's the wrong one.
Thank you.
We're seeing the view where we see both sides. We're seeing the presenter view, not the
It's very slow on my slide. Maybe Juan, can you share it?
Yeah, I can share the screen. Yes.
My slides that I sent you.
Yes. But
Seeing
I
slides
don't
now, right?
the PDF. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, but we're seeing this, both the slide and some of the whatever you have behind the slides. Just getting there. Yes, perfect.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Juan, for the introduction. And I want to join you on behalf of the steering committee for thanking everyone that took care on the organization of this edition of the conference. So thanks for all the participants for joining online the virtual conference. And a big thanks to all the authors and the PC members that was involved in making this great program that we will have this year. I also take the opportunity to thank all the organization team for this year, especially the general chair, the PC chair, and the artifact evaluation chair, as well as the communication chair, Luli, that did a great job on Twitter and the website and so on. And I would like also to thank all the organizers from Splash that did an amazing job on making this first edition virtual due to the current situation. I also thank Sigplan, who sponsors this conference and was always supportive with regard to SLE. Next slide, please. So I'm here today for giving the Most Influential Paper Award 2020. Next slide, please. So the Most Influential Paper Award has been introduced in 2019 after 11 years of the SLE conference, and we are delivering this award every year to the paper published 10 years ago, and that has been the greatest impact either scientific, societal, or industrial. This paper is selected by the steering committee on several facts that are collected by the steering committee and different discussion and community endorsements that we receive during the year. So this year, the Most Influential Paper Award is given to next slide, please. It's given to the paper GTL, a bidirectional and change propagating transformation language, authored by Antonio Ciccetti, Davide Di Ruschio, Romina Eramo, and Alfonso Pierantonio. So congratulations for this very seminal contribution to bidirectional transformation and model coevolution. This paper has been a great impact over the following decade. And now I would like to give the floor to Romina, that will give some word about the follow-up of this paper during the decade. So please, Romina, the floor is yours.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Very well.
I will share my screen. I cannot share because some other participant is sharing. Okay, I can now. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. So thank you, Benoit, for your introduction, and thank you very much for the award. My co-author and I are very happy to this award. So the paper has been presented in 2010, and yeah, the paper proposed JTL, that stands for Janus Transformation Language, and it is model transformation approach that is tailored for bidirectionally and change propagation. Its semantic relies on semantic, and it is implemented in as an Eclipse EMF plugin. But what was the novelty of this paper? Well, like its competitors that was limited to bijective transformation, JTL allowed to specify non-bijective transformation and was able to resolve transformation in a non-deterministic way. And in particular, this means that it can resolve consistency and restore consistency by generating all the admissible solution models. And we attributed the impact of this paper primarily to the fact that the problem of having multiple solutions is common to many domains and has many applications. And this is confirmed by the analysis of the paper that cited this work in the past 10 years. And in this pie chart, we consider that the citations in Scopus, they are 96. And in the right part of this chart, it is relevant in our opinion, the fact that many citing works refer to approaches that use logic programming, logic solvers, often SAT solvers to resolve model transformation, change propagation, etc. And this is the orange slice, but most papers explicitly deal with problem of multiple solution, design space exploration, variability, also navigation of model, uncertainty, ambiguity, and not only in bidirectional or model transformation. And other papers concern traceability in model transformation, and it is interesting because they refer to GTL, to the GTL traceability engine. And then besides other kind of approaches and the secondary study, the green slice represents our work that extended our 2010 paper. And in fact, we intensely worked to a lot of application extension, but also enhancement of the JTL implementation. And this slide I summarized the further developments on the tool. In particular, we enhanced both the transformation and the traceability engine. We improved the EMF plugin, also developed a standalone version, integrated the JTL in a benchmark suite created within the transformation tool context, 2016, and also validated the framework throughout benchmarks and several case studies. All of this is available on our website. And yeah, we worked a lot on a research point of view, and in particular, we worked on design time uncertainty in directional transformation, in particular on how to represent and manage this multiple solution by means of a single model with uncertainty. And here we are talking about known uncertainty. We applied the JTL also in collaborative modeling in the change propagation among multiple architecture domain description languages. We applied JTL on the context of complex and embedded system, and in particular approach for design space exploration in the automotive domain. We extended the traceability, the bidirectional traceability engine of JTL for try to represent links between design runtime and improve the system. And we also GTL for software quality engineering, in particular with the bidirectional approach, an extended bidirectional approach from analysis model to software with the aim to refactor the system and improve performance and availability. And yeah, more or less, this is our follow-up. And it has been involved in a European project, and in particular XLDU MegaMart 2, that propose a model-based framework for continuous development of complex system, and its follow-up actually is under evaluation. The name of the project is IDWART. We aim to work with AOps and DevOps in the continuous development of cyber-physical systems. Yeah, and after that, we think that is still a lot to do on this topic. And in fact, the fast growing complexity of modern software system ask for using and investigating different technique for manage different aspects of the systems, involving different domain, different discipline in engineering, different modeling technique, language tool, and especially different level of abstraction. So this makes us think that we still need to effective bidirectional communication and to work with and on GTL. So that's all on my side.
Thank you so much, Romina, for this presentation.
Thank you to you for the opportunity to talk about this paper.
So we will now hand over to Gypsy for the introduction. Maybe in the meantime, I just want to introduce, because we don't have any closing session this year, the next team for SLE 2021. Just to announce that the general chair for the next edition will be Elko Wissel. We will organize this new edition of the conference that will be still co-located with Splash in October 2021. And the PC co-chair will be Ima Soderberg and Dimitri Skolovov. And they are planning right now to have a deadline in June 2021. So please keep aware about the important dates that will be communicated to very soon. And in any case, we will keep the good connection with Gypsy, and we will continue to work the two conferences together. So now I'm handing over to Gypsy. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Benoit. Marianne, you want to go ahead and say a few words?
Yes, I'm going to be very brief. I just want to announce the best paper award of the Journal of Computer Languages. And the topics of the Journal of Computer Languages are very well aligned with the GPCE, SLE, and Splash conferences. In 2019, we launched the Best Paper Award. The eligible papers were all papers submitted and accepted to the Journal of Computer Languages in 2019. And the papers were judged for novelty, significance, and contribution to the area of the Journal of Computer Languages. And the award committee is delighted to announce the winner of the 2019 Best Paper Award. The winner is going to receive $1,000 and an award certificate. But before the announcement, I would like to announce before the announcement of the winner, I would like to announce the runner-ups. And there are two papers which are runners-up. The first paper is RT Trust Automated Refactoring for Different Trusted Execution Environments Under Real Constraints by authors Yin Liu, Kijinan, and Eli Tilevich. This paper was revised and extended Gypsy paper. And the second runner-up is the paper PET pair to VEC and AST PET pair-based code representation method for defect prediction by authors Keshi, Yang Lu, Jingfei Chang, and Zhen Wei. And the winner of the Best Paper Award is the paper on the semantics for spreadsheets with sheet-defined functions. The authors are Alexander Asp-Bock, Thomas Bockholm, Peter Sistoft, Ben Thompson, and Lon Thompson. Congratulations.
Thanks, Marian. So we'll go ahead and begin the GPCE part of the opening session. I'll share my slides here. Hope that's coming through okay. Is that visible? Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Great. Martin, you want to go ahead and, Martin or Ulrich, you want to start off? I think Martin wanted to say a few words at first.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. So yeah, I want to say hello to everyone and welcome you all to the 19th International Conference on Generative Programming, Concepts and Experience, Pandemic Edition. And wherever you are and whatever time it is for you, I hope that this virtual setting will work for you and that you enjoy the program. And Jeff will say more about the program in a few minutes. And at this time, I just want to thank some people that have made this event possible. In addition to all the people involved with Splash and the virtualization, I want to specifically thank, first and foremost, Jeff for handling the technical part, working with the program committee to assemble the program. And then I also want to thank Ulrich as SC chair, who was there along the way with his experience, and also to thanks to Erwan, who handled the publicity for the conference. The PC members deserve thanks for doing all the hard work of reviewing the paper and discussing the work. And finally, of course, the authors should also be thanked who actually make the conference possible by contributing content. So again, thanks and welcome to everybody. And I now hand it back to Jeff.
Thanks, Martin. So I'd like to continue to add thanks as well to Dirk and Simone at Conference Publishing and to all the behind the scenes things that all the Splash organizers have been doing. So it's, you know, a lot of emails back and forth and a lot of effort to put this online. So thanks to them and the researcher and Clouder teams as well. So there's the organizing committee, and Martin already mentioned Erwan has been helping us a lot with some of the web advertising and social media for GPCE. We have had a great program committee, very active discussions right during a time of the pandemic and what would typically be a holiday period in August. So we really appreciate their efforts to helping us select the papers for this year. And the steering committee as well, feedback on some of the directions and some of the changes that we had to make to bring this conference session to you. In terms of some of the submission details, it was also double blind and every paper received at least 3 reviews. And the online discussion, as I mentioned, happened during the period of August. We had 38 abstracts submitted overall, to which 30 full papers, or 30 papers were submitted in final form. 23 of those were regular papers, and we had 7 short and 2 demo papers. And from those 30, we accepted 11 overall, 9 regular papers and 2 short papers. So those 11 papers will be presented across this upcoming session, as well as 7 other sessions to bring you the GPCE program in combination with SLE in each session. Excuse me. So the nationalities of these are the accepted papers. So these are all co-authors across all the different countries represented. So good diversity of representation there. I followed Juan's example and also created a word cloud. So very similar things across GPCE and SLE as well. So not really surprising, but those were the words that came up for the word cloud of our abstract. So all this is the submitted abstracts and the word cloud from that. I actually stole most of this slide from Juan, so apologies to Juan, but thanks for putting this together. So this is a mimic schedule of SLE and GPCE. We'll have all of our papers. SLE has more papers than GPCE, so there will be a furtherance of sessions for SLE, but those that are in combination, you can see are throughout today, as well as over in tomorrow. And again, following the Splash example, we do have mirrored sessions 12 hours after the original time that the session was presented. So I don't know, Ulrich, you want to talk about the news here?
Well, I just want to confirm, and first of all, as steering committee chair, thank you to the chair team of for 2020, Jeff and Martin Irwin. Thanks for making this all happen with all the virtual conferencing and everything. It's been really great job that you made it work. And we just want to confirm that GPCE 2021 will be with Splash 2021, wherever Splash happens to be, if it's virtual or Chicago or whatever, we'll be there. We'll again have a special issue of Elsevier Cola on the papers from GPCE 2020, and we'll be sending out invitations to selected papers after this year's GPCE. And yeah, back to you, Jeff.
Yep, thank you. And if you'd like to follow us on Twitter, everyone's been posting out to GPCE CONF for our Twitter handle. So our first award will go to our distinguished reviewer. So we had 4 candidates for this award. There was, during a time of pandemic and during what typically be holiday season, it was great to see all the discussion. But in terms of the overall contribution of the depth of the reviews and the contribution during the discussion period, our most distinguished reviewer for GPCE 2020 is Julia Lawal. So we congratulate her, and this certificate will be sent to her by email. Ulrich, I think I pass it back to you for the most important or most influential paper. I think you may be muted.
Oh, here, unmute. I think Jeff, just make the suspension, go on and jump to the next slide. So we have the most influential paper award, which this is the second time we're giving it out. So we tried a bit more for, and it goes to lightweight modular staging, a pragmatic approach to runtime code generation and compiled DSLs by Jake Rumpf and Martin Odersky. And I just want to add personally that as soon as we talked about this, I thought back to GPCE 2010 and seeing Chiak presenting his work there. And I mean, I remember vividly, it made a big impression on me. I also remember thinking that this is too simple somehow. It can't do any useful stuff. And I was a bit doubtful about it, whether it had any future or anything, but it was nice that it could work at all. So I think history proved me wrong here. And I'd like to hand over to Chiak to give a personal account on what happened since then. Chiak, please go ahead.
All right, is the audio working okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah, so, hey everyone, and thank you very much. So it's really fantastic to see this paper recognized in this way. And, I mean, staging is one of these things that are just so obviously such a good idea that, they keep being discovered and rediscovered all over again, right? And, there's, lots of kind of complicated solutions, right? And some of the more simpler solutions. And, as Ulrich said, right, I think, sometimes it's surprising that the simpler solutions actually, work really well, right? And this was sort of, one of our goals with this work, to do something that's really, grounded in prior work, right? But then sort of, simple and pragmatic so that it's actually usable, right? So one of the things that I think is really important to realize, that over the past decade, since this paper was published, I think staging has really taken over the world, right? So most systems that are, somehow performance critical have added, staged or deferred APIs in one form or another, right? So if you're using TensorFlow and using computation graphs in TensorFlow, that's staging, right? If you're using data frames in a system like Apache Spark, which build a query plan at runtime, then are compiled to more low-level representations and executed, that's staging, right? If you're designing hardware, right, then chances are these days you might be using the Chisel hardware description language, and that's staging, right? So that's building circuit graphs at runtime in Scala and then generating RTL from that, right? And this is behind what's driving much of the innovation in the RISC-V world and so on. Then another example is actually the Linux kernel, right? So much of it is being redesigned around the eBPF API, which essentially lets you submit code in a form of low-level bytecode language that is run inside the kernel, right? And sort of checked in various ways and so on. So clearly, if we're building systems like this, right, then semantics matter, optimizations matter, and pragmatics matter, right? And this is where I think LMS was one of the